what you were buying, then go for it. But through personal experience, I know that buying the trendy clothes that I actually didn't like made me feel included, but in the long run, it made me feel worse about myself. In 5th grade, Aeropostale polo shirts were super popular, and I didn't have one, so my friends Lohi, Meme, and I all went to the mall to go get one. When I first walked in, I saw this ugly salmon polo shirt, but it was pretty much what everyone else was wearing, so I decided to try it on. First off, it was maybe 10 sizes too small. My arms were squeezed into those sleeve ends, and it just fit me in all the wrong ways and places, and it was salmon, and I can't wear like straight red or pink on top because I already have a really red face. So all around, this looked terrible on me. But my friends gave me the thumbs up, and my mom wasn't there to tell me absolutely not. So I spent $20 on something that I thought would make people like me more. I wasn't wearing the trendy clothes that everyone else were wearing in general, so this was pretty much a first for me. So I wore that disgusting shirt all the time. And for those first few weeks, it felt good, but then it didn't. I wasn't getting the expected attention on it. I mean, it wasn't unique to have the shirt, but it also wasn't my color, and it was not my size. So I ended up getting self-conscious about what I looked like, not just in the polo shirt, which really hurt and stunk, and it left me with a sour feeling for a long time, though that was that and we moved on. But my story can fit into many other situations. If you don't like the situation you're in, get out of it. Find something better. And if you don't like the friends you're hanging out with, don't hang out with them. Find better friends. And if you don't like the trendy clothes, don't buy them. Find something that you like and you feel like the bomb.com in. So don't force a salmon too small polo shirt on yourself if you don't want to.
This one or the other one. Question that is frequently brought into my view, and the only question that can basically drag me into the eye of brainstorm and close all connection with society. I remember when we first came in class that day, and you made us choose one prompt out of almost 250 prompts. Choosing is hard for most people, and it's even harder for me. But just choose one you desire and stop being so unconfident, Justin. This response has been repeated by so many times and by so many people. It's like how many people have asked me, are you Jason or Justin? Well, I prefer making a choice that won't make me regret my decision. I always try to see the pros and cons of every decision I make. Even choosing a snack, for example. I just make a table and list out all the pros and cons and compare them. The things I consider are the size, the color, flavor, cost, and then the connection I make with them. Basically asking myself whether it will end up in the trash or sit down further. And then I sort of travel to the future to answer those questions. Hey, Justin, what does this actually taste like? Oh, it's horrible. Never mind. Finally, after all those analyses I made, and two choices left. But this is a time when my brain started to get messy and it's become more impulsive. Well, I basically choose one that's the best looking. The one that I regret the most. Because since I'm a person who likes to see a person's inner self, their personality, rather than their appearance. And then I like to enforce that rule to myself too. Just like how I eat a lot of candy or a lot of cops. Okay, let's go back to the topic. I remember when I was struggling between prompts, 10, 11, 13, 14, 25, 67, 157, and 200. And some questions were asking me, who's my favorite superhero? What do I want to do when I grow up? Where's my favorite place to hang out? And there was one question asked me, am I good at art? So then I started brainstorming. What is art? Is everything art? But am I good at art? No. And this is time I usually move on after saying no to myself. But wait. If art is not just carving or painting, it's also writing, like poetry. But does that make an idea or thought an art too? But before asking myself in the butt, my crazy rapper thinking skills, so I just drive off and shut down completely and think about other things and leave me right there, standing there, wondering into space. So yeah, I do believe it's hard for me to make decisions, and even the right ones. If I clean a vacuum cleaner, does that make me a vacuum cleaner too? That's the way.
For as long as I can remember, I wanted to be just like you. I want to experience the rush of adrenaline you get when stepping into the operating room. I want to save lives and families like you. I want to be a surgeon just like you. Now, you probably think I want to be a surgeon because of the amount of Grey's Anatomy I watch. And yes, I watched all 14 seasons. But Grey's Anatomy isn't what fueled my passion. I remember waking up at 5 in the morning because you had an emergency surgery and no one was home to take care of me. I may have lost a couple hours of sleep, but I enjoyed going to the hospital. I'd sit right outside the operating room and watch as you go in and out of surgeries. I would listen to the constant beeping of the heart monitors, which I found quite calming, and the slight smell of hand sanitizer that wasn't too strong but would help wake me up during those early mornings. You don't know how badly I wanted to go into the operating room and watch one of your surgeries. I still do, but I guess I'm too young. I'll never forget the time Sebastian fell right onto his head and needed stitches, and for some reason you thought it was a smart idea for 9-year-old me to remove his stitches. It was nerve-wracking knowing that I could possibly cut Seb's head by accident with the scissors. My hands would not stop shaking, but you were there every step of the way to help me. You were there in any situation. For me and your patients, you were there. Now that I'm older, I want to follow your path. Even now, whenever I get the chance, I spend most of my time shadowing doctors and assisting on procedures in the emergency room. I stay up from 9 p.m. until 4 a.m. seeing so many different patients, traumas, and injuries, so I can prepare for what's to come in medical school. I even get a little blood on my scrubs once in a while, but it's all worth it in the long run. I know it's a long and hard process going through medical school, internships, residency, but as long as I have you, Dad, I know I'll make it.
When I accidentally found out that you were actually blocking me when you're posting pictures of me on social media, which I've been forbidding you from doing all the time, it occurred to me that, honestly, I've also been doing a few things behind your back. In the spirit of fairness to you, I confess. I have blocked you when I post stuff on social media too. I once used a towel that you used to clean your face to wipe off the juice that I accidentally spilled on the desk. You said you were proud of me when I told you that I earned money by doing chores for the community. Honestly, I didn't do any of them. I earned that money by selling your old Apple Watches online, and I gave them 50% off. It was I who ate all the ice cream in your fridge. Guess where lip glosses were always used up so quickly when I was little. I used them to paint my nails, but the color always came up really soon, so I guess I had to do another coat again. I told you I was hanging out with my girl best friend, when in fact, I was hanging out with boys for most of the time. Last Christmas break, I went out 7 times, but I only hang out with my girl best friend for once. But don't worry, that was only because I have more guy friends. The animation stuff that came in packages that are delivered to me were never presents from my friends. When you told me to practice playing the piano just about when you leave home, I never did, even though it seems like I did. I opened the piano case, moved the bench, and put the sheet music on the music stand as soon as it went out. Okay, I probably sound like a horrible child after you have heard all of this, but please bear with me. I'm sorry for coming back home late on the day of your birthday. I was trying to find a nice bracelet for a birthday gift, but I did not expect to take so much time going around all those shops trying to find a perfect one for you. It was not like I like to drink those nasty banana-flavored soybean milk drinks that always come within the bundle you buy. It was just because I know you don't like them, so I simply drank them for you. I know how hard you strive in order to support me to go to school at US. It'll be okay for me if you choose to get remarried, because I understand it's too much pressure for you to support the whole family alone. Sometimes I said, I'm fine, when I'm actually so upset. I just did not want you to get worried. I never missed you. The previous confession was a big, fat lie.
Only the cool kids do it. Once, when I was 4 years old, my mom and I decided to get our nails done. I know what you're thinking. Why are you telling me a story about getting your nails done when I just peed myself? Let me finish. I was thrilled because I was being grown up. This term meant I was not like the other 4-year-olds. Pulling up in our minivan, I sprinted into the nail salon. Everyone knows I'm a girly girl, and what other girly girl loves more than pink? But trust me, 4-year-old Ava was a walking Barbie doll. The nail lady looked at my hand. She said, "Oh, aren't you pretty?" I smiled and said, "Oh, merci." But she looked at me confused and said, "Oh, honey, I was talking about the nails. Look." Once my nails were coated a fresh bubblegum pink, I peed myself. They looked so magnificent. No, literally. I had to pee so bad. I screamed across the room to where my mom was sitting, "Mom, I'm going to the bathroom!" The whole room was laughing hysterically, but I was way too busy to be embarrassed. I frantically ran to the empty, luckily, private bathroom. Being a germaphobe is hard, especially when you're using a bathroom. What if someone peed on the seat? I don't want my tush to be sitting in the fluid. But anyways, that's how I think of it. And normal people think, oh, I'm just going to sit on the seat because I have nothing better to do. Anyways, the situation was I had to find a seat liner. But by the time I laid it on the seat, I couldn't hold it in anymore. Boom! I drenched my poor little bell bottoms. I was crying and definitely knew my reputation at the nail salon was ruined. You can't just walk in there and pretend nothing ever happened. My mom rescued me from my situation. She reassured me I was being overdramatic, like always, and no one could see my accident. But I'm pretty sure, till this day, that the dark spot right here was a full shade darker than my bell bottoms. I made sure I made no eye contact on our way out to stay in the minivan. Once I was in the safety of my own house, I strutted up to my brother, who was watching a movie, probably Star Wars, and said, "I peed my pants today. I'm pretty cool." Peeing your pants is okay. In the end, you just realize you're one of those cool kids.
I'm a pretty independent person. Often, I feel like there's this assumption that independent people never need any help. When I was younger, I learned that it's okay to ask for help. Ironically, the help didn't come, and it made me an even more independent person, but it made me stronger. At least, I think it did. Funny story. Basically, when I was 7 or so, I was going up the chairlift with my dad. We got to the top, and like one does when getting off a lift, we raised the bar and scooted a little forward in our seats. And then the get-off point is approaching closer and closer, and we're supposed to get off. And all of a sudden, my dad gets off, and you know, I'm still on there. And the lift is going around and around and around, and then I'm facing the way we just came, except my heart has just started beating 1,000 miles an hour, because it's quite obvious I was not facing the right way. How in the world did all this happen? Well, you see, when I was going up the lift, I remembered to tell my dad that I needed a push to tell me to get off. See, my legs weren't quite long enough to reach the snow yet. And this was his reply. "Okay, if I see you need help, I'll help you." Now that I think about it, I can't help but wonder how my dad would have been able to tell I needed help within the 3 seconds or so you actually have to get off the lift. But little me just nodded her head and enjoyed the rest of the ride. We got. Little did I know that I was in for a real treat. Not only did my dad forget to help me off the lift, but the person that's at the top of the run that's supposed to stop lift in case something happens. Yep, I remember quite clearly that this woman was not even looking. Her head was down, so she didn't see any of this happen. I was watching in horror as I went around in slow motion, waiting for her to press the button to stop the lift. As I made my descent, not daring to look at the ground in fear that somehow seeing how far away it was would itself make me fall off. My dad, who was skiing under me, was yelling up to me in what I think was an extremely panicked voice. "It's okay, Maddie. You're okay. Hang in there, Boo. You got this." As I was literally hanging in there, sympathetic adults, as they passed me, would say, "Oh, honey, it's okay. You're doing great." Or, "You got this. You're almost there." There were also kids who passed me, and I just sat there feeling like they were judging my getting off chairlift capabilities. About 2/3 of the way down, the tears had pretty much stopped, and I was just occasionally sniffling, just occasionally, when all of a sudden, my dad, who was still skiing under me, yelled up to me, "Look, Maddie, there's a moose!" My head whipped to the side, and there, stuck in a ditch, was indeed a huge moose. I remember saying, "Whoa, Dad," laughing and a smile on my face, empathizing with the moose, who also probably didn't intend to get stuck in the ditch. Apparently, I'm easily distracted because my mind was off the traumatic experience like that. I reached the bottom, the people at the entry to the lift slowing the lift down, helping me get off, something my dad seemed incapable of. I felt like I had just survived a car accident. My dad came swooping in on his skis and giving me a huge hug, making sure I was okay. I could tell he felt extremely guilty. I mean, there's no surprise there. I'd be worried if he didn't. But after climbing to see the moose at a closer distance, and then getting me waffles, this is where I could tell he actually felt guilty, because he wouldn't have gotten me waffles under any other circumstance. We went to the lodge to warm up. So, am I an independent person? Yes. Can I also ask for help? Also, yes. Thank goodness for that moose. Am I right?
You remember when I died, and then went on to haunt you as a ghost for the rest of the month? I remember seeing the shock on your face after I had finally convinced you that I had died. You had this look of disbelief like no other person I've seen since. It was honestly one of the best times of my life, being a ghost for half a month. It was even better when I told you I wasn't a ghost. You had the red color of fury in your eyes, but also you had a great relief knowing I wasn't dead. Do you remember what good friends we used to be? How we always rode the bus together because we were that good of friends? I remember complaining about virtually non-existent homework and us plotting the craziest things we'd do after school. Do you remember when I moved? I do. You had the same shock on your face. Except this time I actually did become a ghost. Like a ghost, you've seen me now and again, but never for long enough. I'd like to stop being that ghost of a person. I would like, although not possible, to go back to the friendship we had when we were kids. Back to the 30-minute bus rides, to the scheming of after-school activities. But since we can't, just send a message my way. I'll respond. I just don't want to be a ghost anymore.
I didn't want to be known as Loudmouth. All I wanted to do was be my own self and say my own words, not falling as Emily Gardner's little sister. But guess what? I did, and I also built up sassiness because of it. I had a pair of glamorous red shoes, like the ones that Dorothy wore in The Wizard of Oz. I loved these shoes. I'd wear them every day, no matter if they matched or not. I would sleep with them on, and I would never let anyone criticize me on how much I loved my shoes. Most little kids love princesses, have princess shoes, and have those little princess clips on their shoes right in the front. Because of these shoes, now I'm left with this story that everyone reminds me of till this day. So, it's lower school, right before PE, and I was leaving out of Keith's house on that side door, remember? Yeah, I got asked to run something to Miss Mullins to Drake, me being me, that walk took 20 minutes, but whatever, that's irrelevant. You loved going to her classroom just like I did because you'd always get little treats, like those little Red Sox mints. So good. I dropped off the papers, got a mint, and walked out. As I was walking out, Miss Mullins said to me, "Clarice, you're gonna have to change your shoes before you go to PE." And this is where I blame you. I said back, "You're not the boss of my shoes," slamming the door. Now where would a 5-year-old little girl come up with saying that? Well, turns out she had an older sister, a loudmouth, crazy older sister where I think it came from. Now, though, that I've thought about it, it was a little embarrassing and funny, but a memorable moment and a learning moment too. I feel like it's a way I won't leave Bement not making a mark or being in people's minds once I leave. Now I still see those little shoes running around making new mistakes, choices, and much more. And I feel like it's a way I won't leave not feeling unaccomplished. So Em, thanks. Even though you may be stubborn sometimes, you still seem to always set the right path for me to follow.
No, Mom. I can't just sit down and do homework without getting distracted. See, I'll sit down at my desk and I'll take out a book. But then I realize that I just closed the book really quickly at the end of class and shoved it in my bag. So, half the pages are doubled over, resulting in a rage that comes from Satan's lair and boils my blood. But anyway, I sit down, and because of these pages, I have to unfold them individually. So about a half hour later, I'm sitting at my desk in front of a book with folded over pages and shattered happiness, because I expected a book with perfect, neat pages, like one of the ones you see in Disney World. So, out of pure anger, I tossed my book onto my bed and started working on other homework. I mean, homework's fine and all, but it's just so annoying. It's like school, at home, away from your friends. And you can't ask a teacher for help, you know? But anyway, I'm working on some other homework, and the pencil I'm using just is not cutting it. And all the other pencils are all the way across my room in my bag. And that is not within an arm's length. And anyway, is it worth it to run over my toe in my rolling chair? I don't think so. I mean, the pain is unreal. But anyway, back to my explanation. So, as any sane human would do, I go out into the kitchen and I get some food. But you have the nerve to tell me that I've been wasting my time? Excuse me? For the past 2 hours, I've been trying to unfold the pages of my book and looking at the first math problem, wondering why it's necessary to do. Now that I say it, you might have a point, but I'm still mad that you're accusing me of this. So I go into my room to cool off. But that basketball looks really nice right now. Okay, maybe just a little bit. Does that explain why it's 8:30 on Sunday night and I've done nothing to prepare myself for tomorrow?
Get alive. Do you remember telling me that 4 years ago when I first arrived at Bement? It was a challenging time for me when the people, the language, the school, and basically everything else was just new to me. I was an extremely introverted person, so I didn't really have any friends. It was a time of the year when I kind of knew everyone, but not really. I had always tried to stay away from you and your friends because you are not only full of kindness. However, I don't know how I ended up just walking with you guys together back from DA to Bement one day. You guys were just making fun of me as usual, and I was alright about that. Until you suddenly turned around and told me to get alive. You and your friends burst into laughter, but I was actually struggling hard to prevent tears falling out from my eyes. The January snowstorm had diminished into a monotonous drizzle as I got home and thought about the incident that morning. Get alive. Such a simple phrase, said flippantly, but conveyed a much deeper meaning. Life, a very general word, covered so many areas, such as courage, chances, personalities, opportunities, and much more. And friends were the only thing I really yearned back then, so that was how I related the most to a fulfilling life. I realized that my shy personality wasn't a great way for me to meet new people. Thus, I will have to change, I told myself. I need to change. It is not the world that will adapt to my lifestyle, but it is I who will have to adapt to the environment around me. 4 years have passed now, and I changed into an entirely different person. I have friends now, tons of friends. I am so much more extroverted now that I can start a conversation with a stranger at any time. I want to thank you for telling me to get alive. That was a rude and mean thing to say. However, those words pulled me out of the world once I thought I knew and introduced me to myself.
Alright, Mom, wait. Hold on. There is a reason that I went out at night. I went out for Wi-Fi. Yeah. Where can I get it? I mean, I saw the places that is still on in the middle of the night. ginger garden. Big Y also works. It kind of depends on the speed. So I just hid in some roadside bushes and dashed through the street. That's the reason I went out. Wait, you don't believe me? But I told you the truth. Yeah, the truth. Yeah. Fine. Yeah, there's another reason that I went out. I went out to climb the tree. You know, yeah, really, the tree that's right in front of our house, you know? I mean, the night is so calm and peaceful, and I was up there along with my phone to listen to music. And looking up at the stars, I came to think, why are we here on this planet? I mean, what is the purpose of life? Do you know? And no one asked me if I wanted to be here, right? Anyone asked you? Well, you see, it's not all wasting time that I went out. How did I go up? Well, actually, that's the easy part. I raised my shade, I opened up my window, and then my screen, and wait, why am I telling this to you? No, this should remain unknown.
Hey, guys, what day is today? It's February 11th, 2017. Not 16, not 18, 17. What the heck does that mean? It means math counts today, okay? The most important math competition today. I know you guys are new and nervous, but trust me, it's fine. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna get first. We are gonna win this thing. Remember what those people who quitted say? They say that I was the only experienced member, and you guys are all noobs. I'm gonna get last because I have you as teammates. That's not true. You guys are so awesome. I have so much confidence. Why am I confident? Confidence in you. Okay, I am a little bit disappointed, I guess. But not because I have you guys as teammates. I'm disappointed because those quitters, they questioned my fundamental belief that you can accomplish any of your goals as long as you work hard enough and truly believe the cause of it. Like, come on. This is math count. This is the only chance we, as a team, as a club, gonna earn the school, like what, 5 trophies? Are you gonna let lose that chance? Of course. Well, I'm not going to let lose that chance. Like, you guys are amazing, okay? We only meet once a week, and that is so short compared to other schools. And you always stay late for extra practices. You boarders especially finish all the problems I passed out every night. And me personally, I know myself that doing math in free time is annoying. And each time we meet, we'll think for a team strategy that's better than the last one. It doesn't matter how skillful you are in the beginning. What matters is you did beyond your best. What do we do now? Let's laugh. Let's relax. We pay the work that we need, and we should, and we will get the accomplishment that we deserve. The problems you slashed through won't be as pointless as you said it was. And you will get your promised League of Legends skin after you finish the competition. Well, there's also something else I want you guys to know. I feel like we learned something more valuable than the awards before today. During the days when we had practices, we learned how to be a team. It's something us individuals doing math problems. And we learned that we can and we will exceed the expectations. It doesn't matter how skillful others think you are, or even yourselves think you are. The expectations, there are limits. There are limits for being there for you to break. And today we're going to prove that no matter how others think we are, we're better, we're best, and we're beyond the best. Well, here comes the individual round. I want all of you to look at the problems, read the units, don't make stupid mistakes. Hands in, go Bement.
No, it's okay. It's really okay. I swear. I mean, I know you probably just messed up the names, but we've known each other long enough that I thought we were kind of beyond that.
Usually Kelly's the one that gets annoyed when anyone messes it up, even when someone barely knows us. Like, for real, Kelly, how do you expect to make new friends if you get scarily angry anytime someone messes it up?
Cammy, I'm sitting right here.
Then sit back down, because this is my monologue. But honestly, this time, I'm a little annoyed. It's just that sometimes people stop caring. I'm surprised you didn't try to combine our names somehow, like some people do when they can't remember. Kelmy! That doesn't even work. And our names aren't even similar. Wait, that's not true. Hold up. Why do so many twins basically have the same name? But thank God you didn't ask this question. Do you ever forget which twin you are? I don't know. Have you ever forgotten about your existence? And do you make her try on clothes for you so that you know what you would look like in them? This might be shocking, but I usually just let my mirror do that for me. And are you twins? I'm this close to saying, ew, what? Kelly? No, we're not even related. I know you actually know the difference, but sometimes people don't. They'll run up to me all excited, like, Kelly! And then I have to explain, that's not me. And then their mood usually switches, and they look like it's the end of the world. I'm so sorry that you're overwhelmed with disappointment to be talking to me. I know everyone has a favorite, but making it so obvious is kind of disappointing for the other twin. Oh, but forget about friends messing it up. We also have the twin hopper. This is the boy or girl that goes from twin to twin. Ooh, so one time, Kelly didn't want to talk to a guy that liked her. So I, being the nice twin, volunteered to talk to him for her. And he didn't even know the difference. So I guess that proved a point to us all. But you don't have to be a genius to know the basic differences in our personalities. I talk with my hands, and I basically laugh with my entire body. Kelly's pretty chill, but you better not keep a secret from me, because I will make it come out of you. The scariest part are the comparisons, telling us to stand next to each other, the looks up and down, the stares. Yes, I've been told many times that I'm this much shorter than Kelly. So, if you ever want to feel self-conscious, try being a twin.
I was in the winter public school system from kindergarten up until 7th grade when we moved here. Public school was full of what felt like normal occurrences to me. Fights, smoking, and in one case, a kill plan. These instances might seem like they would be impossible to happen in school, but I promise you, they are real. And I'm not saying all public schools were like this, but in my case, I wasn't so lucky. I'll start with something that happened when I was only in 2nd grade. School had just ended, so I ran out to the bus to get a seat near the back, where all the cool kids sat. I lived at Loomis Chafee, which was about 25 minutes away from my school. Eventually we got to our stop, and Cammie and I, and 5 other faculty kids got up to get off. All the parents were standing there. Well, all of them except for ours. So Cammie and I get up, expecting to just walk the few feet it took to get back to our house. But the bus driver slams the door in our face and says we can't get off if we don't have a parent there. So we have to drive all the way back to school, with Cammie crying the whole way. In 6th grade, I moved back to the middle school. The middle school was full of fights, food fights breaking out in the cafeteria, kids swearing at teachers, and running out of classrooms while security guards from our school chased them. But one story from my 6th grade year stands out in particular. I was on the bus, once again, sitting next to my best friend Hannah. A girl who I thought was my friend popped her head up from in front of us and said she had something to show us, something she had been planning for a while now. So we were curious. We looked over the seat, and there she is, with a paper folded across her lap. This is the plan. I'm going to kill Alexis.
What?
She then proceeds to show us a very elaborate plan on how she's going to take out a pocket knife and kill Alexis after school. She told us not to tell anyone, so we were practically scared to death. We didn't want her to come after us too, but we knew what we had to do. So we went immediately to the principal to report her, and she only got suspended for 2 weeks. So when Mr. Belcher told us last fall that a kid had brought a dangerous weapon to school, I was instantly reminded of my times at my old school. But then he pulled out a toy Lego gun, and the feeling of safety came to me again. Bement is a place where you can be who you are and not have to worry about people judging you. So please cherish your time here, because we are all lucky to be here in this safe school.
You applied it to Deerfield, which inspired me to apply it as well, and here I am at Bement. Now, not only am I much warmer, but I also improved in academics and as a person as well, for the small price of being more. I also learned a lot of life lessons. For example, if your computer is so bad that it lags while playing Minecraft, you should probably get a new one. I also developed an ingenious technique to survive on only 2 boxes of Capri Sun for an entire week. The trick is to limit yourself to only 2 touches a day. Well, apparently I'm an interesting person, one to which the likes of you have never seen. But you may ask, what is it that I'm not seeing? Any normal person would see me as intelligent, legendary. But is there something else? A secret trait? And if it doesn't lie in my traits, it must lie in my skills, right? Is it the swiftness of my dabs? The flaming passion behind my gaming? My subtle smooth talking skills that are a mystery? Countless scholars have men ponder this question each and every day, probably. Well, we've covered my dabbing, gaming, smooth talking. Almost everything that defines me as a person, except for these things. So what's up? At this point, most philosophers would give up and say, the shroud that surrounds Giles is just too deep and mysterious. I'll end your misery and reveal the great secret. It was actually my dabbing skills all along.
for my 4th birthday party. But can you blame me for picking the marriage? Did you really think I was going to pass up a chance of you being my prince or getting to marry you? I mean, you were my childhood crush. Yes, it may have been extremely embarrassing in the moment, and it could have possibly been the time when I had the rosiest red cheeks. But I never get made fun of for picking the marriage, and I don't think you ever get made fun of for actually marrying me. Having my brother graduate from Bement and a cousin who attended there, I knew I was probably going to end up going to school there. At the age of 4, I definitely had an understanding that Mrs. Jackson was the head of school. So if you thought it was embarrassing for you to kiss me in front of strangers, here I was getting married at the age of 4 in front of a very close family friend / future head of school. But now that I look at it, it really wasn't a big deal. I'm sorry that I made you kiss me and that I didn't kiss you. I did that so it would look like I didn't like you when I actually did.
remember what happened? I kind of do, but I very well could have blacked out. I remember the huge crowd around us and the cameras flashing in every direction. I remember I could see everyone so clearly from being on the big rock in the pool area. Having had our ceremony in the pool area, it was already a bajillion degrees, on top of the wave of heat that rushes over you when you get embarrassed. Not many 4-year-olds get to pretend marry their childhood crush. Not many 4-year-olds get to have 50+ people watch them get married at their birthday party. Not many 4-year-olds get to have as extravagant birthday parties. Getting married to did not only teach me what being pecked on the cheek felt like, it taught me that it was a part of life to get embarrassed. Just because it seemed like such a big deal then, now it seems like it was one birthday out of the many I've already had. It was one day and it was one moment. So to you, my husband, thank you for letting me learn these important life lessons. I have carried them with me each and every day since we were pronounced husband and wife.
Rapping has been a passion ever since 2 years ago, and it's now an important part of my life. I would like to share with you one of my important interests as a way to encourage myself to continue with it in the future. Yo, it's your boy Lil Phil. I'm so cool. I go to school. You're just supposed to go and die in a pool. Okay, calm down. I know you guys are crazy because of my presence right here. Well, to be honest, I am not a very good rapper, but I'm better than some people. Anyways, even though I'm notorious for being a bad, amateur rapper, I'm still very persistent about it. I would like to pursue this passion, the passion that pushes me to work hard. I practice my rapping skills over and over again when no one is looking. I accumulate enough vocabulary for my freestyle and practice rapping in both languages, English and Chinese. 到底冠军杯谁定 ？I no 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 no， 难道我就应该认命？做娱乐爱豆免费送你一段就信，我精神抖擞，说我谁不来就够 chain， I'm just so. I look online for rapping videos, following celebrity rappers such as Kendrick Lamar, Post Malone, and Eminem. I have a dream that one day I'll become a famous Chinese rapper that you guys will all be crazy about. And telling others that you were once upon a time a friend of mine. Anyways, I would like to show you guys my skills after many days of arduous work. I've been working so hard to achieve my glory, just like Nemo trying to find Dory. Many may not like my story, but I'm gonna make you sorry. Let's go think about get buried when I'm chilling eating strawberries. Okay. I know you guys are so moved by this. This is really a masterpiece. Have a nice day, and I'm out. Peace.
Don't laugh at me, but I'm scared of the dentist and orthodontist. Ever since I was small, I was afraid of them and their tools. And in my lifetime, I've gotten 6 teeth pulled. Yep, 6. And every single time before going, I would cry. Just last Monday, my mom told me I had to go to the orthodontist. I started bawling. Literally, tears were streaming down my face. When the dentist, with his fancy tools, is ripping out my teeth, the fact that someone's hands are in my mouth does not make me feel well. At all. But my mom and dad have always pushed me to go to the orthodontist, even though I didn't want to, because they said it was healthy or something. Anyway, I was finally getting used to dentists, you know? Twice a year, until the devil, the orthodontist, arrived in my life on a monthly basis. It was torture getting the braces glued to my teeth. Like what? Metal glued to your mouth? Yeah, no thanks. And I thought it'd be so painful the first time I got my braces on, but it wasn't. I was like, you got this. And it was, the second time I went in, it was awful, because they started tightening my braces, and the tool got stuck in my bracket. The orthodontist was yanking at my teeth, and it was so painful. It was like the tug of war championship. And so I made a decision and bit her. One of the best decisions I've made. And ever since then, I have cried of terror before visiting the office. Honestly, braces are awful. But I know that due to pain, they will pay off and my teeth will be straight. And I've seen people who've had braces and their teeth look absolutely amazing. And I will always go to the dentist and orthodontist, even though I don't want to, because I know it's healthy for me and something I need to do or more problems will occur. Pray for me when I need my wisdom teeth.
Dear Mom and Dad, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to come here and meet all those amazing people. But time flew by so fast, like me in the swimming pool. 2009 is our almost the end of the year. There will be people and places that I'll miss once I leave my legacy behind. Well, of course, friends will still be alive, but the feeling that these places give me will never be the same. Therefore, I want to share my favorite places that meant something more than just a part of the Bement property. Well, my dorm would be the most memorable place for me. I did many fun or meaningful stuff with my friends, like sleepovers, wrestling, water fights, and also watching weird stuff on TV. And I would also see my textbook into my because as you know, I'm a knowledge-seeking student. And speaking of student, our primary purpose is to learn and study. And apparently, every classroom in the school gives me a special feeling when I'm in them. I feel alive. I feel like I'm swimming in the ocean of knowledge. Well, as you know, I'm also diligent, engaging, and a positive member in class. But not always like this when teachers are facing a whiteboard. I do enjoy training at the swimming pool at DA. This is the place where I train, laugh, and learn with my beloved teammates. And I just love the feeling when I jump in the frigid water. Oh, you have no idea how refreshing it is. Lastly, I love the season dances. They were all very fun. And we would dance like crazy. I like jump like crazy. Well, they say it's a dance, but all we do is like jump up and down. And I'm surprised that the floor in TC Wyvern haven't collapsed yet. Like, I think we should name like a dance party more than like we should name it like a jump party, like a dance party, right? But they were all fun because we 9th graders have invested so much time and effort into these dances, right? However, these are not the primary reasons that I cherish every moment I spend in these special places. It's because I'm with my friends, whom I'll never forget.
There are 6 members of the Riddington family. Your brother Forrest, the energetic one. Leif, the bald one, your father. Sarah, the sometimes sweaty one, your mother. Lucky, the hungry one, your dog. And you, Dahlia. If you were counting, you would ask, who's the 6th? I'll tell you. The 6th is me. I am your cat of the Riddington family, otherwise known as Bina. Dahlia, I hope you know my story, but if you don't, I'll tell it anyway. When your mother and father were only 19 or 20, they adopted me from my 20-kitten litter. They took me home to their small apartment and fed me. They let me jump on the fridge and sit on the sofa. Leif even let me bite his hand sometimes until I had to wear a glove around. My life was great for 5 years. 2 people in the universe loved me, and that was all I needed. Yet as a cat, I felt it was all too perfect. I was right. One day, Leif and Sarah brought home a small creature. Dahlia, as a 0-year-old, of course you were quiet, but at the same time, somehow immensely obnoxious. You would do this thing where you would stare at me for 2 minutes straight, then without notice take your greasy fist, yell an unknown vowel such as "hayel," and swing at my face. But Leif and Sarah acted as if you were an endless supply of mice. I remember one day you were waving your arms excessively to try to stand up on your own fat feet. And when you finally did and moved about 2 centimeters, Leif and Sarah grinned and clapped for you. You might call me jealous, but at the same time, I was completely speechless. It was the most unintelligent scenario I had ever witnessed. Let me speed up the story by telling you all that this exact same thing happened 2 years later with a different, fatter, more unintelligent creature. I found out soon that you two were called Forrest and Dahlia. Much to my surprise, a couple years later, Leif and Sarah brought in yet another creature. This time, he was fast and orange and slobbery, and his name is Lucky. You might know him as your dog. Lucky, oh man, I didn't understand him. He was orange, fast, slobbery. And one thing I realized is that Lucky was totally wild. Anyway, I heard from other cats that the most disastrous, the most awful and horrible thing that could happen to you as a cat is if your owner sneezes. I remember the day that Leif was working on his computer and petting me at the same time. Suddenly, I hear him sniffle. I look up, and his eyes are like puff pastries, and his face is red, and he's itching, and his nostrils flare, and suddenly, he takes the biggest sneeze in the history of sneezing. Snot flies out of his nostrils and lands on the floor and on the walls and on the ceiling and even on the computer. And then he turns towards the living room and says, "Sarah, I think I might just have allergies." You might assume that I slept outside in a cardboard box for the rest of my life. You would be correct. Even worse, I could tell my time was coming. I felt myself thinning, and I started to hate food. I didn't have the energy to walk, and my hearing and half my sight fogged up. Honestly, I blame it all on you, Dahlia. If you hadn't come to the Riddingtons just like that, then all would be fine, but somehow you managed to ruin everything in your path. Something happened as you and I got older, though. Now you're 9, and you don't look as scary, I have to admit, but I could tell you felt pity for me. I could tell you looked at me with condolence, and not only did you realize I wasn't really cared for, but you acted on it. You took time out of your day to brush the black and white knots out of my tangled fur. And slowly did I realize that not only you cared for me, but Leif and Sarah did, and Forrest, and Lucky somehow. So yes, I used to have 2 people who loved me in this world, but I died having